Hey, this is MJ, and in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to crochet our Caribbean Boho Bandana. It's a beautiful, light, delicate bandana that's worked in granny stitches, as well as these beautiful shell stitches along the side. The yarn that I'm using is Comfy Fingering Weight from WeCrochet, and I'll be working with the color Ivory. This yarn is a number 1. It's 75% Pima cotton and 25% acrylic, and you'll be able to work about 2 bandanas from 1 ball of yarn. I'll be working with a 3.5mm hook, and this is a dots hook from WeCrochet as well. So I'll have links in the description box for the yarn as well as the hook. I suggest also having 13 stitch markers just so we can mark out our shells across the top. We need to evenly space them, so the stitch markers just help, but that is optional if you're able to just sort of evenly space them without marking it out ahead of time, that's fine. So to get started, we're going to make a magic ring. Wrap the yarn around your index finger 3 times, take your hook, sliding it through, grab the first loop, pulling through, and chain 3. We'll work a double crochet, chain 1, we'll work 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 1 and 2 double crochet. All in the ring. Now I'm not going to pull the ring completely tight. So I've pulled the one loop started to pull in. I'm going to grab that loop now, give it a little bit of a tug. It's going to pull the other loop. I'm going to leave a little bit of a hole, just like this. Now we're going to chain 3, turn, and between these double crochets, we're going to work 2 double crochet. So this is our first cluster. Chain 1, and in the chain 1 space, we'll work 3 double crochet for our next cluster. Chain 1, and now we're coming to the chain 2 corner, which is our corner stitch or our corner chain, and we'll work 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 double crochet. Chain 1, our next chain 1 space, we'll work 3 double crochet, chain 1, and between the last 2 doubles, we'll work 3 double crochet. Okay, so you can see our little triangle is forming. So chain 3, turn, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to work between these 2 doubles, 2 double crochets to make our first cluster, chain 1, and then in our chain 1 spaces, we'll work clusters, chain 1, cluster, chain 1, and then at our chain 2, we'll do our corner, which is 3 doubles, so our cluster, chain 2, cluster. Chain 1. We'll work our cluster, chain 1 up to the last cluster. Chain 1, and then between the last 2 doubles, we'll do our final cluster. And now we'll just keep working rows until you have a total of 15. So now once you've worked your 15 rows, I've marked out spaces for my shells. The reason I did that is just to make sure that I fit them all in correctly. It's really easy to work the shells in our chain 1 spaces. So I want a total of 13 shells across the top. So I made sure to mark the center, I marked each side, and then I want an additional 5 shells in the center on this side and 5 on the center on this side. So 13 in total. So just evenly space them out, mark the end, the center, and then just evenly, the markers will just help you work those shells across. I'm just going to remove this one. So now what we want to do with our working yarn is we want to chain out about 15 inches for our tie. So we're just going to give this all a measure. This is approximately 15 inches and about 7.5 is the size. And then we're going to chain out about 15. So I'm going to start working my chain. Okay, so I went with 80 stitches and I'm going to chain 1 extra for my turning chain. And I'm going to single crochet now across the chain, going through the back loop. I made sure not to do that chain too tight so that it would be easy to work into the chain coming back across. Okay, so I've worked across 80, but what I want to do before I start working across, I want to join on and chain out 80 on this side so I can continue working across the chain. It's going to all be incorporated into our stitch pattern as we work, so it's nice just to get this going. So I'm going to chain 80. So just pull that through. Loosely work your 80 chains and then fasten off. Okay, so I've worked 80 and we'll fasten that off. Okay, so I'm gonna come back over here and I'm coming to the edge of our rows. And we're going to work our first shell, which is going to be a 7 double crochet. So yarn over. So there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I kind of messed those ones up. Okay, so 7. We need to put another shell here. So I want a single crochet. I'm gonna stick this through sort of the stitch. And then our next shell will go here. So 7 double crochet. And we want the next shell here. So again, sort of not going into the space, trying to kind of get your stitch right sort of in between here. It's a little fiddly working across this section, but once we get to the side, it'll be a lot easier. And then right in here, we need to do another shell. So we're going to do our best we can to evenly space these across. So another single crochet. And then we'll do another shell. So we just want to make sure that the shells evenly space out and it's not pulling our work too tight or not bunching up too much. Okay, so this is how it's looking. I'm coming to the center. So we'll do 7 doubles. Okay, so I'm going to keep going all the way across, doing the best as I can to just spread them out, and then I'll meet you up for the next part. Okay, so I've worked my last cluster or shell, and now I'm going to work across the chain in 80 stitches. So we're going through the back loop of the chain. I'm going to crochet over the tail so that it pulls it tight here. Okay, so once you get to the end of your chain, we're going to add 2 single crochet in your last chain. Now what you want to do is turn, and we're going to work down this side of the chain. You could crochet over your tail as you go as well. So you'll be working down this side 80 stitches. Okay, so work all the way and then I'll meet you back at the bandana section for the next row of shells. Okay, so now once we get down to the bandana, we need to, almost in that same space where we've worked this shell, we need to do another shell. So we're going to do 7 double crochet. Okay, so it's kind of looking like this now. Then the first chain 1 space, we're going to do a single crochet. In the next chain 1 space, we'll do 7 doubles. And this is why it's a little bit easier, because we're using the chain 1 spaces now as our guide. So there's 4, 5, 6, 7, a single crochet, and a shell in the next. Okay, so I'm going to continue this down and I'll meet you down here. Okay, so I've worked a single. We're now coming down to the corner. And it's going to be squishy, but we need to get 14. So we're getting 14 in total down in this space. So sort of a shell for this side and then a shell for this side. Okay, so there's 14, and we'll do a single crochet in the next, and then a 7 double crochet shell. Okay, we're going to work this all the way up to the chain, and then I'll meet you up again. Okay, so I've worked up the side. I'm coming to my last space right here where I need to add my last shell. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 7, and then we need to work back up the chain. So on the other side of the chain, we're going to work 80 stitches. And we'll be ending at the end of this chain. Okay, so I'll continue working single crochets across and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so once we get to the end, I'll add 2 in the last chain and then slip stitch in that first single crochet to join. We can then fasten off. And we're going to weave in this tail, and you can weave in your starting tail. Now you can also give this a little bit of block, especially if you're not getting a nice flat shape. Mine has come out pretty good, but if you need to even just give it a steam block, just to give it a nice pressed look, you can give it a steam, or you can wet it and pin it out on a little blocking mat. So I'm just going to finish weaving in all of my tails. Okay, so I just weighted. I've used about 105 yards. So this is perfect to use up any scrap bits of yarn that you have left over. I've been using this in my Caribbean vacation collection. So I've had lots of scraps left over to make up the bandanas. We'll just give the finished bandana a measurement as well. So it's about 15.5 and about 8 inches. So if you are using a different weight yarn and you want similar sizing to come out, that's roughly what it is. So if you're using different weight yarn, that's roughly the size that you're looking at needing to get. But if you don't want to make any modifications, I do suggest just following the pattern and using a nice light #1 fingering weight yarn. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on all my new videos and tutorials. Make sure to check the description box below the video for the pattern link as well as the links to the supplies. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.